Where I grew up, on the Crow Reservation, people tell stories differently than people in movies. Nobody lowers their voice and says, "Gather round." Nobody tries to make it dramatic. Usually, they say something simple. Something like, "Don't stay in the mountains after dark," or, "If you hear something, don't answer." Nobody explains any further. If you ask questions, people either change the subject or tell you to leave it alone. When I was younger, I thought that was superstition. And now I think maybe some things survive because people stop talking before they say too much. One of the things that my elders told me was about the little people of Pryor Mountain. My grandfather called them spirits, never called them ghosts. He called them the old ones. And I asked him if they were dangerous, and he thought for a long time, and then said, "Not usually." I asked him what he meant, and he looked at me and said, "They don't think like us." That answer annoyed me at the time. Years later, I finally understood what he meant. This happened when I was 30. My cousin Nathan wanted to go hunting in the Pryors. Nothing unusual. We'd just gone before. The mountains looked dry and quiet from the road, but the ridges and limestone cliffs, juniper, places where the sound carries farther than it should here in the state of Montana. Nathan spent the drive making jokes. He joked about the mountain lions, he joked about Bigfoot, and then he said, "And if we did ever find little people, I'm asking where they hide the gold." I told him not to joke, but he laughed. He asked if I ever actually believed in stuff like that. I said I was respectful to the stories. And then he smiled. That means yes. We parked and started hiking. Morning passed normally. Nothing strange. No bad feelings. Just mountain air and boots on the rock. Around noon we stopped at a ridge to eat lunch. Nathan wandered a little bit further than me. Then he stopped. He crouched down and then walked over. There were footprints, very small ones, but too small to be a child's. They were also bare footprints, pressed into the dry dirt. Only 6 of them. Then nothing. No trail leading in and no trail leaving. Nathan stared and then laughed. He took a picture. I told him not to, and then he asked why. I said, "I don't know why." He shrugged. Then we jokingly waved towards the mountain. Still nothing happened. We packed up and kept moving. About an hour later, we realized something was strange. We should have crossed back into familiar ground, but nothing looked familiar all of a sudden. The terrain was foreign. It was almost right, but it was slightly wrong. Nathan checked the GPS. There was nothing. Everything was normal, except we kept ending up where we started. Twice. As if we were going in a loop. We looked at a map. The map showed us where we were supposed to go. We couldn't understand what was happening. And then we heard laughing. Children, far away. Nathan stopped, and so did I. The sound drifted across the ledge. It was children playing. I looked around, but I didn't see anything. Nathan yelled hello, and the laughter instantly stopped. Now, not a breath of wind. There was dead silence in nature. Nathan smiled nervously now. Okay. We kept walking. 10 minutes later, the laughing returned. This time closer, still no people to be found. Still no movement. Nathan shouted again. The laughter stopped. Again, we kept moving, then whistling. Free notes, soft and right behind us. I turned. Nathan turned. There was nothing. Then he whistled back. I immediately felt cold. He laughed, and then the exact same whistle was answered in return to him. Close. Nathan stopped smiling now. We started moving faster. After that, things changed. Not dramatically, but just enough. The air felt heavy. Birds disappeared. Even the wind sounded quieter. Then the rocks started showing up. Small stacks, like little piles that were deliberately left. One after another. Every few hundred yards. Nathan noticed them too. He said somebody had been messing with us. I nodded, but I knew anybody or nobody was carrying stones for these slopes just to prank hikers. Eventually Nathan stopped walking. He pointed. There was movement ahead. Something small crossed between two rocks, too quick to see. We both stared. Then another movement. Same spot. Again. Going fast, like somebody stepping out and immediately back, peering behind a rock to get a look out of us. Nathan said quietly, "Do you see that?" I nodded, and we waited. Then something moved further uphill, again, too small and too fast. Nathan whispered to me, "Are they kids?" I didn't answer. We started walking again. This time faster, but now every few minutes movement. Always at the edge, always gone before he looked directly at it. And then we heard footsteps, not ours, but several sets, running and marching on matching our pace. We didn't see anything. We kept spinning around expecting to see something, but there was nothing that was following us, even though we could hear them. I thought I saw something disappear behind a rock, small and dark, and very too low. We didn't say anything, we just kept walking. The sun started dropping. It started disappearing behind the horizon. We should have already reached our truck. Instead, the mountain seemed endless. Nathan stopped. He looked pale. He pointed uphill. I followed his gaze. And nothing, and then movement, clear this time. Something stepped halfway out between the limestone. Small, about 3 feet in height and human-shaped. Long dark hair. Then it stepped back. Nathan whispered, "No." We started moving again. Then another, on the opposite side. Watching, stepping, gone. Then another, closer. Never fully showing itself, never fully coming out into the light, but showing just enough to know that we were being watched. Then laughing, right behind us. Not like children, but like adults mimicking children. This sounded like adults imitating children. We broke into a jog. The footsteps followed. Not chasing, but just keeping pace behind us. Then I heard something. It was a crow. It was somebody speaking crow, soft behind me, a woman's voice. It was my grandmother. How could that be? She's been dead for 10 years. She said my name. Then she said, "Turn around." I stopped. Nathan grabbed my arm hard. His eyes were wide. He whispered, "Don't." The voice said my name again, this time closer. I kept walking. Then the footsteps stopped, and everything stopped, and there was not a sound to be heard. Nathan slowly turned, and this time they didn't hide. Across the ridge behind us, they stood, maybe 15, maybe 20, small, no taller than a child, but long, thin, old faces, dark hair, completely still, watching. One of them stepped forward. It looked ancient, the elder of the people. Its face looked as though it was about to crumble. Its eyes looked bright. Then it smiled. Not friendly, and not angrily, just like recognizing it knew somebody else. Then all of them ducked behind the rocks at the exact same moment. Gone. There was no sound. Nathan grabbed me and we ran. Neither of us looked back. We found the truck at sunset, got in, locked the doors, started driving, and about 10 minutes into the drive, Nathan finally spoke. "Did you see them?" I nodded. He swallowed, then said, "They weren't watching us." I looked over. He stared ahead. Quietly, he said, "They were waiting." Neither of us have gone back to those mountains. And sometimes I still think about that smile. Not because it looked evil, but because it looked like it was waiting for us. Like something that already knew that we would leave, and it would still be there.